Hey, sports fans, Larry Eater, Run Blog Run. This is the trials breakdown. I'll be doing this daily for you. Just kind of update on our what kind of programming we're going to be doing over the next days between the 18th and the 27th. So we'll do a preview each day. We'll do a review each day via Zoom, and I'll do the review at night, and Mike will have it up. Mike Deering, our production manager, will have everything up the next morning. I will also do a couple of live things on Twitter for a minute and live things on Facebook for a few, and kind of give you, some thoughts during the day and a couple things in the evening. Plus, make sure you check out Run Blog Run every day. We'll have 8 to 12 stories. We've got a whole group of people helping us here, both live but also remotely. And let's talk about the remoteness of things right now. So I'm one of 30 writers who will be in the stadium. Typically at Olympic trials, I believe there was over 200, and they drastically cut it down. I have covered every Olympic trial since 1984, and I had a fight to get my place. And I know there's a plethora of distinguished writers who have not been able to get in. Little frustrating. I understand USATF, USOC all have to deal with our friends at the Lane County Health Department, but they've let people into the stadium. We're hearing rumors of somewhere between 5,000 and 9,000 vaccinated, and there's going to be some non-vaccinated areas too. But it's going to be strange because all of the interviews will be done remotely. There will be no mix zone. So what do I mean by a mix zone? Typically in a track meet or a sporting event, as the athletes leave the field, they come through an area where reporters, it's almost like a rugby scrum. Reporters and videographers are taking pictures, asking questions, and it's right after the heat of the battle. And it's kind of fun. It's always crazy for me going up and down the stadium because I'm sitting at the very top stairs so I can see everything. So while I'm enjoying the remote opportunity and we'll be able to give you a little better coverage, I think it's frustrating for some of the people who love the thrill of the mix zone. A good hip check now and then, move on the camera, all those things happen. And that's just kind of part of a national championship or Olympic trials. The 2021 U.S. Olympic trials are the first Olympic trials for track and field in 5 years. Normally it's 4. This is, without a doubt, the finest track meet outside of the Olympics, and in many events, it may be the best track meet of the year and of the Olympic time period. I'm at the Magpie Coffee Shop in Eugene, Oregon. It's right around the block from the Graduate Hotel, which is in Eugene. The Graduate used to be the Hilton, and where I do some work. And then I'm staying over in Springfield at a Motel 6 because it was the only thing under $250 a night. When I came to Oregon last month, I was paying about $103 a night in Hilton's and the Trues and True by Hilton and the Garden Hilton. Part of the reason is I get points, so it gives me some free time and stuff. But all of a sudden, the pricing went to $430 a night, and couldn't afford that. So we're on a bit of a budget, and so I found a Motel 6 for $79.81 a night. It's a short drive away. Having my kombucha. But I can heartily recommend the Magpie Coffee Shop. It's in a little alleyway. There's a whole new kind of eating area off 5th Street in Eugene. The iced Americanos, which is my drug of choice, are fantastic. I should just take coffee grounds and pour it on my arms, but I don't. And I can see Micah signaling me, Larry, keep your hands out of the picture because we're trying to do this thing well. So we've got a plethora of topics today. The Olympic trials will start tomorrow at 12 noon. And just going to kind of give you a quick update of what we've got. At 12, we've got the shot put tomorrow for men. At 12:05, the men's hammer throw qualifying. And at 4 p.m., the women's discus throw qualifying. First round of the women's 1500 is at 4:03 p.m. At 4:30 p.m., the women's 400 first round. And at 4:45 p.m., the women's qualifying in the high jump. Men's 400, first round to 4:58. Saw a very healthy Vernon Norwood yesterday. And as you know by now, Fred Curley is out of the 400 and running the 100 and 200. I'm not sure what that says. Maybe he's not ready for a 400 this year. He sure looked good with that 45:03 indoors where his shoe was untied. I thought he could have gotten the world indoor record, but that's just me talking. The first round of the men's 800 meters is at 5:26 p.m. And I'll tell you, that's going to be one of the hottest events of the entire trials. Donovan Brazier, Clayton Murphy, not sure if Matt Centrowitz or Craig Engels are going to be competing in those, but there's some fast people in there. Drew Wendell, 2018 silver medalist in the World Indoors, is back healthy, so that should be kind of fun. But Donovan, I think, is in a place by himself. Bryce Huppel, love to see where Bryce is at too. Bryce has been just burning it up as well. The women's first round of the 5,000 meters will be at 5:54. The women's triple jump qualifying will be 6:15. So the women's 5,000, that field's going to be loaded. And yes, Shelby Houlihan, who has been provisionally banned by Athletics Integrity Unit and World Athletics, she claims that she had a pork burrito at a one of the little stands in Eugene, Oregon. And the WADA manual says that yes, pork offal, which is the pork stuff that you normally throw out, may have nandrolone in it. There's been some problems with U.S. food products and Mexican food products over the last several years, and several athletes, including Jared Lawson, have had some trouble. We'll get back to Shelby in a bit, but she's going to be competing in that first round of the 5,000. 6:30 p.m., the men's shot put final. Ryan Krauser, Joe Kovacs, among others. Could we see a 23-plus meter throw, a 75-foot shot put? Yes, we can. These guys are fit. They are crazy, and they're exciting. And nothing more fun than watching big guys throw 16-pound metal balls, right? 6:37, first round of the women's 100. That should be a lot of fun. Who can battle Sha'Carri Richardson? I think that she's going to be top out there, but there's some people who really believe in themselves, English Gardner among them. And at 7:25, the last event of the day, the men's 10,000 meters. That race is completely wide open, I believe, but it's going to be pretty exciting to see who shows up, who battles, and it's one of my favorite events. 25 laps is like a moving, breathing chess game. So that'll all be in the new Hayward Field, and a couple thoughts about Hayward Field too. Look, my first meet at Hayward Field was 1980. I got to watch the Olympic trials steeplechase. It was Mike Roach, John Gregoric, Ron Addison, Henry Marsh, Doug Brown. In the race to the third position, Gregoric and Addison fell at the finish line, and one of them, or both of them, messed up their shoulder. I think Ron broke his shoulder. Ron and Doug Brown had been at Knoxville, University of Tennessee, in 1974. in that iconic picture, went 1-2 in the steeple when the University of Tennessee kicked butt with Willie Thomas in 880, and just some kind of cool stuff. So geeking out. But I love the old Hayward Field. But you know what? While I'll miss and mourn the old Hayward Field, I will celebrate the new Hayward Field. It's a sanctuary to sport. I would compare it to the Notre Dame Cathedral in terms of its significance. Why? In the Middle Ages, they built big cathedrals because most of us didn't speak Latin and were rather illiterate. And so we dealt with understanding pictures and stories. And the pictures was big building, God is big and all powerful, hence the Cathedral of Notre Dame. What is the Hayward Field that was funded by Phil and Penny Knight tell us? Track and field is one of the greatest sports in the world. And the University of Oregon has an amazing history of track and field, and some of the finest fans have been here for years, and many of the finest athletes have competed. I think it would be a great place to compete. I first got to witness a meet on the 7th of May. I will tell you, for vaulters and jumpers, the winds are going to be kind of interesting, as well as for sprinters. But I think it's going to be a great facility, and it'll be a great host to the 2021 Olympic trials. That does not mean I think that the Olympic trials should be in Eugene every 4 years, although I love coming here. I think we need events at Stanford, Mount Sac, Drake, Kansas, Austin, Texas. We need a big place on the East Coast to celebrate track and field. Do we need to go back to Randall's Island? I don't know. I just remember when Leroy Walker was, running the world. We had that event in 1994, USA versus Africa at Drake, which totally rocked. And we need places like that. But it's a combination of things. The media's got to be involved, and you've got to let media actually come to the events. And in a pandemic, I know it's a challenge. I'm not chastising USATF. I just wish that USATF and Lane County and the University of Oregon and the USOC would have seen the benefit of having another 30 or 40 media members. In typical fashion, I'm here for RunBlogRun and Fortius Media. We have several freelance writers who are going to be sitting in the stands writing, but my brother Brian Eder, Mike Deering, and Adam Johnson here from the Shoe Addicts. Between the three, they've covered 2 or 3 Olympics and 4 different world championships, photographers and digital assistants, and they are not allowed in. And there's some very famous photographers that are out here. We will have the work of Kevin Morris and I believe Courtney White, and a few others will be here too. But I think USATF did the best job they could. I just wish we could have had a few more people. Not jumping on them. They've got enough other things to deal with. Among them, the shit show of the trials will be the Shelby Houlihan Burrito challenge, which, so here's the story. In December of 2020, Shelby told the media on night that she went to a food stand, ordered a carne asada burrito, and she was pretty sure she was giving a pork burrito. In January of 2021, she was told, I think January 14th, she was told that she tested positive for an antigen. She went back and looked at her food diary and believed that she got the positive because instead of getting a carne asada burrito, she got a pork burrito. And the pig offal, according to WADA reports, produced a positive on nandrolone and can produce a positive at the 5 milligram level. Now, what I'm being told by some of my contacts in the U.S., and again, very obviously sympathizers with Shelby. Shelby's never had a problem before. The Bowerman Track Club's never had a problem before. Jerry Schumacher's never had a problem before. Last year, Shelby, I think, was tested 16 times, Matt Centrowitz 12 times, while a couple people have insinuated that's because they're doing something wrong. No, that's because USADA is doing something right and they were testing, whereas a lot of groups were not. In Great Britain, instead of 2,200 tests in the first 3 months of the year, they did 290 tests. So it gives you an idea that most of the testing groups around the world have really dropped because of the pandemic. So Shelby, wanting to compete in these trials, tried to get the decisions made quickly. The process never works quickly. And but the decision was not made by USADA, who's had some experience with these food products, but by Athletes Integrity Unit. Think of a police investigative unit, internal investigative unit. That's what AIU is. And in many cases, I support what AIU has done. I've been frustrated over them over the last year because certain people have gotten away with what I thought were poorly or misjudged decisions. Including the 2019 women's gold medalist at 400 meters. I was from Bahrain. I was rather confused about that. Christian Coleman is dealing with a ban right now, and Shelby Houlihan has originally been given a 4-year ban. And the theatrics of the notes from AIU suggested that she had absolutely no proof. She just failed in giving proof that the burrito that she had was tainted. In checking social media responses the last few days, it's a how do I say this? In the U.S., there's a lot of sympathy for Shelby. One, because most people see her, and she is the American record holder at 1,500 and 5,000. They see her as a top athlete and someone they really care about, and they can't believe that she would, for some reason, go off the path and cheat. Many Europeans believe that a lot of Americans have gotten away with stuff anyway, and so Shelby, like other Americans, are dirty. And many Europeans do not understand our jurisprudence system, which is you are innocent until proven guilty. In Europe, thanks to our friend Napoleon Bonaparte and him kind of playing invasion over much of Europe, Napoleonic law suggests that you are guilty until innocent. And I believe that's how the AIU sees it. What I think would work quite well is AIU needs an ombudsman, someone on the outside saying, hey, yeah, you guys do a pretty dang good job, 98.5% of the time, but, there are mistakes. And in any human endeavor, ask any scientist, ask any statistician, there's somewhere between 3 and 5% injury or false positives. And there's mistakes because humans are involved. That being said, Shelby running in the 5 and the 10 under protest is just what USATF should do in protecting its athletes. You're also going to hear that, well, Nike pressured USATF. Well, yeah, Nike's giving USATF, what, about $41 million a year for the next 30 plus years. So they are a big sponsor, and but USATF's job, sole purpose for existence, is seeing how many gold medals they can bring home from a global championship. So if you've got Shelby Houlihan, who I believe could medal in the 1,500 and the 5,000, because it's going to be hot, it's going to be tactical, and she loves that stuff, And as 2 athletes last week, when I asked them to describe Shelby, they called her a badass. I believe Shelby is a badass. I also believe in my heart that she's not But she didn't cheat. But I can also understand people from Europe, people in the U.S. Farmer steeplechaser Tony Famiglietti came out pretty hard against Bowerman, actually ripping them up pretty hard in some social media. I thought some of it needed to be said, but also some of it was done rather poorly. And but I do understand his right to discuss things and speak and use his opinion. So from 12 noon to about 8:30 tomorrow night, I'll be sitting in Hayward Field worshiping track and field. You should be watching it on NBC and NBC affiliates, and we'll have the TV schedule up on RunBlogRun for you. Men's shot put is going to be huge. I predict a new American record. Ryan Krauser is fit. Joe Kovacs is coming down from the cave. Hitting Olympus, he's fit. And there'll be a lot of fit young throwers in there who want that third position. I think their position is pretty open in the men's shot. Love talking to the shot putters. I mean, Ryan Krause is always fun. Joe's great. Really want to interview Joe's wife because she has been shaking it up, and she's got him. She's got Joe. She's figured out his currency, and she's getting him ready to throw. And what he did in Doha, that was one of the greatest single events I've ever seen. I mean, my son and I watched that live, and it was just like breathtaking. And getting to interview them in the medal ceremony afterwards, it was very, very cool. So, looking forward to finals tonight in the men's shot put in men's 10,000 meters, women's first round of the 100, women's 400, men's 800 first round, women's first round of the 5,000, where there'll be controversy with Shelby Houlihan running. But it's going to be a fun event. And the Olympic trials is something that we need right now. It's strange because I think the Olympic trials may have more fans there than you'll see in Tokyo. At this time, while I am credentialed for Tokyo, there's a 99% chance that I will be covering it remotely. In 2018, I had heart surgery. In 2019, I had cancer surgery. And I've got the one shot. But with the kind of things that they're throwing at us, such as if a media person flies over there, they're in a lottery pretty much each day to see their events, even though the specialists, and I'm considered a specialist in track, who knew, are supposed to get in. If someone's sick on the plane, I'm quarantined. And we go by a bus, we'll be tested, we get to our hotel, we're in a bubble, we can go to the stadium and come back. There's a GPS tracking of us. It's just, it's almost 1984. I understand why they've got to do what they've got to do because, quite frankly, I don't believe COVID's under control in Japan. And it shocks me. It just seems that I don't understand why the vaccines weren't there. I don't understand why they haven't done a better job of it. And I just think the IOC did two things wrong. One, they should have put up all Olympic events up to 2024. They could have done that. Two, they think that the Olympic gods are just going to make everything better. And, Mother Nature and the Olympic gods, I'd love to see them play together. But, we've had high jumps in the rain and marathons in the rain and unbearable heat. So, sometimes I think the Olympic and gods and Mother Nature are like the Sumerian gods, in the Gilgamesh story, where they were just pretty snotty all the time. But athletes have got to compete in whatever conditions are given. The conditions in Eugene will be very good from the 18th to the 27th, 60s to 80 degrees. It'll be windy at times. We're hoping to see 5,000 to 9,000 people in the stadium. That's what we're hearing right now. We'll keep our fingers crossed. NBC's TV crew looks fantastic to me, but Lewis Johnson, Otto Golden, Sonia Richard Ross, Kara Goucher, Paul Swangard, and I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, the Cathlete, 2011, is married to Jan Johnson's daughter, the silver medalist at the pole vault. And I'm having a brain freeze right now, and I apologize, but I'll say something nice about him tomorrow. But I've got to head out to a couple interviews, and I hope you like this. If you have any questions or suggestions, email me at runblogrun@gmail.com, or respond on Twitter at RunBlogRun. But we will have daily Twitter coverage with photos, daily Facebook coverage with photos. My brother Brian will be managing Instagram, and you'll see some cool reposts and stuff like that too. And then Mike Deering, our production manager, will be handling the Zoom daily updates, and will help me make sure I don't screw up Twitter and Facebook. I'll have the pleasure of my son Adam around for a couple days to help me with some live coverage over the weekend. And it's nice getting to see people. We saw Coach Finlanana and Coach Brooks Johnson yesterday with Sean Merritt, who he's coaching. Sean has these totally cool professorial glasses, but he looks good. He looks ready to roll. I think that 400 is going to surprise some people, and I'd love to see LaShawn do it again. Again, I want to talk to Fred Curley about the 100 and 200, but it'll be interesting to see kind of what's going on there. And did not mean to slight Bryce Howell. I did. Bryce is one of my favorite runners. He just reminds me of Jim Ryan, and it's kind of cool. And we'll see Hobbs Kessler this week too, this week or next week. And then men's 10,000. I'm not sure if Galen's going to be in it, but I can tell you that the 10,000 field is going to be pretty hot, and you don't want to miss that. So men's shot put tonight and tomorrow night, and men's 10,000 meters. They're the two finals on Friday the 18th. It is Thursday, June 17th. This is Larry Eater with RunBlogRun. If you like us at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you love us, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thanks to Mike Deering, who is the production manager. He did 369 videos for us last year. We have 2,500 videos and audios. My brother Brian manages the audio portion of our programming. But we've got stuff for everybody, and we hope that you enjoy it. Pass it around, because the more eyeballs, then we can get Taco Bell, and I can drink more kombucha. Okay? Anyway, stay safe. Wear a mask when you have to. Make sure you get vaccinated, and don't do it just for yourself. Do it for other people. And please support track and field. We have great athletes out there. Every time I meet a new athlete, I go, God, how lucky can I be to be in the sport with very few assholes? That's kind of a nice thing. And athletes have a great sense of humor. They really care about the sport. And final thing, Christian Taylor ruptured an Achilles a couple weeks ago. He's already had surgery. He's looking to 2022. We can't wait to see him back. I think it'll be a little harder for Will Clay to get himself pumped up for that 18-meter mark without Christian there. But Christian's a good guy. We want to see him healthy. Larry Eater, RunBlogRun. This is our new programming, the Trials Breakdown. And thanks to Mike Deering for the name of that, too. Talk to you soon.